Hi everyone, I'm Michael Barletta, co-founder of AguaceroWx, and today we're going to be going over how to customize layers and save those customizations in the Aguacero application. So in our application, all layers are customizable. That's a unique feature to Aguacero. Everything from the layer order to having multiple layers on at one time to the color map and the ranges, all of that. When those customizations are saved, we call those bundles. Now, right when you load into the application for your first time, you're going to be met with this screen that is kind of one of our default bundles for the GFS. So it is showing all different reflectivity types as well as sea level pressure. Up here on the top bar is all of our default bundles. So like with any other website, you could come up here and load in different variables. So here we see wind and for surface variables, upper air precipitation, etc. We also have different types of variables. So MRMS, mesoscale analysis, satellite, and a bunch of different NOAA data. So that is where all of the customizations that come by default and the ones that you make specifically will live. So there are two types of customizations. One, we could customize which layers go where and what layers we're currently viewing. And then two, we're able to customize things like the colors of those individual layers or the ranges of those individual layers. So what we could see on the left, we have our map on the right that obviously we could visualize the data, but on the left we could see each of these individual layers on here, and we could see each of them is customizable. We could delete it or move it up and down the tree here, and we also see which type of data we're visualizing. So for rain composite reflectivity, we're currently looking at a fill layer, but we have multiple different layers like line layers or point layers. We could see for mean sea level pressure, we're looking at a line of mean sea level pressure. So we're able to switch between those data types or have multiple of those data types on if we want. We could click fill and now we see a fill of mean sea level pressure. So let's take that off. So what we could do with this is, again, customize what layers we're currently viewing. So let's remove sea level pressure and some of the composite reflectivity. So now we could see on the map, we just see the rain composite reflectivity. If we want to add a layer, we could come here and click add layer, and we could see we have a few different options. We could select a model layer, a satellite layer, MRMS, RTMA, or NOAA. For now, let's just click on a model layer and click a different, let's just add a different layer. So let's just add 2 meter temperature, and we'll see in a second that 2 meter temperature will populate on the map along with composite reflectivity. So now we see 2 meter temperature. However, we could see the rain layer is now below the 2 meter temperature layer. So if we want to change that, we just come up here and click up. And now we could see that our rain layer is over our 2 meter temperature layer. Like I said before, you could change the layer type. So if we also want to see a point layers for 2 meter temperature, we could come here and click point. And we could see that there are points here now populated for 2 meter temperature. However, in this instance, they're a little bit difficult to see. So now we could get into the second type of customization that we have, which is customizing layers individually. So maybe we want to change the color map of 2 meter temperature and we don't really like it so much. So what we're going to do is click edit layer. And now we could see we are on a new screen here with all of the different customization options. So the first one we see here is the units. So we're in degrees Fahrenheit. We could change that to Celsius. The color map type, so we could have a custom color map or show everything in one color, but for temperature we want a custom color map. We have each of these color blocks that are setting the temperature color map. We have the option to save our current color map to use later or load a new color map in. We see a data range here that we could change what range of the data we're viewing. And we also see opacity and smoothing. So we'll go through these one by one. So units, again, you could change from degrees Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. Each layer individually will have its own unit conversion. So for like things like rain rate or something like that, it could go from inches per hour to millimeters or centimeters per hour, etc. Now we can customize the color map. So there's a couple of ways that we could do this. We could customize each color individually. So let's say we want 60 degrees just for demonstration purposes. We want it to be blue. We could come over here, blue. We could select whatever color we want. And when we click off, we could see now 60 degrees, or that color block is now blue. We're able to do some other things as well, such as if we click this 60 degree, we could add a breakpoint. Now, each of these blocks is what we consider a breakpoint. We could click add breakpoint and we could enter a new breakpoint value. So let's say we also want to customize what 70 degrees looks like. We could hit add 70, add it, and we could see it's automatically populated with the color that's currently on the map. And let's say we want to make 70 degrees this light green color. We could do that, and we now see on the map that 70 degrees is that light green color. Let's say we want to save this color map for whatever reason. We could click Save Color Map, choose a name, choose if it's public or private, and that will be there for later use for 2 meter temperature. We won't do that for now because this is not a nice color map, but we can load a color map in. So we could come here, click My Color Maps. Here is a color map that I saved a while ago just for testing. But the cool thing about this is if we click all color maps, we could see all different color maps that different users have created that are available for us to use. So all of these different color maps were created by other users using the application, and we could just simply click them and load them in. And we could see now the color map that we just loaded is on the screen. So we can do that again. Let's choose, I like this one. And that is now on the screen. So that's it with color maps. Let's change the data range. Let's say we only want to see, temperatures that are below 60 degrees. We could grab this here and move this down to 60 degrees. And now we could see only the temperatures in the fill layer are populating that are below 60 degrees. You'll notice, though, that our color map and our ranges have not changed for the point data yet. What we could do, currently we're editing the fill layer in this editing screen. We could come over here to point, and now we could edit the point layer in any which way that we want. So for point layers, usually I like to have a single color and not a color map. And let's have that all black, and it makes it just a little bit easier to see. And we can do the same thing here, changing the data range. So now we see for point layers, only layers below 60 degrees. The next thing that we see here is changing the opacity. So let's go back to our fill layer here. We're able to change the opacity of the layer if we want things to be able to be seen through it. We could also change the smoothing. Currently, this is smoothed out a little bit. However, if you want to see just the raw, unfiltered data, you could change this to a smoothing of 0, and now we see the raw GFS data. However, I like it where it's smoothed. It looks a little bit nicer for me. If you don't like the customizations that you currently have, you could always click this Reset to Defaults button, and we will see the color map goes back to default. We do have to change the data range. So that is pretty much the rundown of how to customize layers in the application. But now, what if we want to save those customizations for later? So again, I'll choose a different color map and choose a different color for the point layer. And let's say we really like this and we want to save it to use later. What we could do if you have an account is click this Save Bundle button. And now what we're able to do is change the names and save it for use later. So let's just call this test as the name. We could select a category. So let's just say surface and then a subcategory. And we could choose any of these options, and let's just choose temperature. We could come here, click this Upload Bundle button. It takes a second. to upload, but this will be saved for use later. How do we then see that? Let's go back up to the top of the screen here. We could see the source is currently on default bundles, so that's all the bundles that we provide people with off the bat. If we click it and change it to My Bundles, we will see now just My Bundles. Now, for me, the default and My Bundles are the same because My Bundles I have set for the default for all users. But now if we click Surface, Surface temperature was the category, or Surface was the category, temperature was the subcategory, we see this test bundle here that we just saved. If I reset the layout just to clear everything off, and let's go, we're on My Bundles, hit Surface, Temperature, and then Test, we could see that in a second here, all of our customizations will be loaded in, and we see exactly that. We see the temperature as well as the reflectivity with all of the customizations that we saved. So that's the basics of how to save and utilize customizations in the Aguacero application. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at our email or on our Discord or on Twitter at AguaceroWx.